Hello everyone, I hope that you're doing really well and thank you so much for choosing to watch this video. In this video, as requested, I wanted to speak about empathy and what it means to be an empath. So in this particular video, I want to help you to find out if you are an empath. If you have chosen to watch this video, you are probably researching about empathy, or if you're a subscriber, it might be a very new term for you. So this is what happened to me. I've never known that I'm an empath, and to be honest with you, just knowing about it and learning about it, it was just so freeing. I cannot tell you how much easier my life gotten after I've gotten to know that I'm an empath, and that is actually a real thing. You are an empath if you have heard things in your life such as you need to toughen up, you need to try to learn to control your emotions, you need to grow up finally. You have probably been labeled as too sensitive, an introvert, too shy, someone who cannot act well within a group. You most probably feel too anxious and overwhelmed when you are in a big crowd or a big group of people. You might be sensitive to light and sound and to certain fabrics and certain noises. And there are a few different types of empaths, and not necessarily all things will apply to you, but there are things that are more common to all of us empaths. Let me tell you one thing, that being an empath, it's a very, very special gift. Don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel that you need to change something. And we'll speak about this later on in the video. So term empath and empathetic, it's actually two different things. So it's empathetic as being compassionate towards each other. It's more like being able to imagine how other person may feel like, and you know that certain situations in life might be difficult and you feel sorry for them. You don't necessarily feel sad, but it does affect you in some way, but you are more like socially responsible, so you know how to behave around those people. Whilst if you are an empath, you actually can feel the same thing as what the other person is feeling, and you can sometimes even feel it physically, and most of the time it's emotional, and you can actually feel what it is like to be that person. Empath can feel what other people are going through, and sometimes you can be feeling as if you are on an emotional roller coaster, because you pick up different emotions from people around you, and it's like being emotional sponge. You just absorb it so well and you feel the same thing. I know that it might be very hard for you to accept that being an empath is a gift. The first time you find out about it, it's hard to understand why can this be a gift, because many times you will be trying to fix yourself and trying to think that there is something wrong with you. You will not be feeling as you are fitting in with anybody else. And especially if you have never heard about this phenomenon, if you never read about it, if you've never spoken about it, if you never heard anyone talking about it, you will be trying to figure out how to fix yourself and how to heal yourself, and you will just be going around in circles. Just at the very beginning, let me tell you one thing straight, that being an empath does not make you an angel on earth. It does not mean that you do not hurt people, that you do not get angry, that you do not yell, that you do not feel jealous or any other negative emotions. It's just simply that you as an empath can pick up certain people's emotions with whom you can resonate. So it's not necessarily you will feel everybody's emotions like some magician. That is not the case. But the emotions that you pick up will overwhelm you because they come up very strong. Just imagine if you were able to feel everybody's emotions around you. This will take your sanity away. You will not be able to handle it. As an empath, you will have a very deep inner life, and you will feel that your life is in HD, full spectrum of emotions, the whole rainbow. You will also probably be quite shy and keep yourself to yourself. You will have very common panic attacks. You will get into anxiety and depression very easily. As I mentioned before, we will still feel negative emotions and we will share them out. And I think empath probably do that more than other people, just because as anybody else, once we absorb those bad emotions, sadness or jealousy or just toxic experience, we now have that. We have received it. We have chosen to receive it. So now we have that in our hands, and it's not much that we can handle. We cannot pile up a lot on ourselves. So this is when we will start sharing it out. So the one thing to learn is how to share this bad emotions and all of the baggage that you have received. Okay, so the next trait of empath is that you don't like small talk. No matter how many times you tried it, it just does not happen. And if you are in a group of people, you would probably just be standing there and laughing in a response to people's jokes, but you will not be the one making jokes and just talking empty talk, you know. The thing, sometimes I see people talking in a group and I really don't know how to interrupt, because they are jumping from one thing to another, from another to another, and then I just don't know when do I interrupt and when do I actually talk. So as an empath, you will value more one-to-one conversation, which will be a deep conversation about certain topic, about something that you have discovered, or just heart-to-heart topic. You will not be good at small talks and you will never be successful in that. Whenever you encounter a small talk, it will bore you to death. It will just drag you. It's just something that does not float your boat. You just rather do something else. You leave the group and go do your work, or you will go home, read something, watch a documentary, or just spend time with your family. It's not something that you will enjoy. That's why your social life will be completely different from certain people, and that is also fine. We need all sorts of people. Another trait of an empath is that you will want to reach out and you will want to help everybody, or at least people that you can resonate with. So one thing for you to learn is that you need to really think if the person, if the receiver is ready to receive a gift of help, because it's not always people are open, whether you want to help them physically or emotionally or mentally. And sometimes you know things that could help the person, but they are just not ready to receive it. We as empaths also respect all forms of life, so most probably you will see an empath trying to walk on the ground and not to step on any little bugs, or most of them will, if they are not yet, will turn vegan, because we feel for all forms of life. It doesn't matter if it's a human or if it's an animal, and we don't want cruelty. So we all have our journey to do. It's not necessarily that if you feel all these emotions you will necessarily become vegan or anything like that, but as you learn about yourself more and more, you will learn how much harm we as humans are doing to certain forms of life without even knowing. It's not necessarily that we want to hurt someone, but it's just that there are certain things that we didn't yet realize. Okay, so another thing is that if you're an empath, you love alone time. It's absolutely best place to be, and you just recharge. You feel like you re-energize, and that is a normal thing, because when you go out you also give your energy away and it can be draining. So you're not that happy in the big large groups and big spaces with lots of people. At work, most of the empaths do not like routine. They do not like teamwork. They would rather work by themselves and do one thing at a time. They don't like multitasking. And most of the times you will see empaths eventually leaving their workplaces where there is work 9 to 5 because they just cannot simply handle the structure, very strict rules, and the place where they cannot be creative and unfold and nourish themselves, where they are constantly being repressed by negative feedback or by authoritarian management, and they just want a healthy, nurturing environment for their soul where they can grow and where their creativity can unfold. That's another trait for an empath, is that if you're an empath, you are probably highly creative. And if you are in a job where you cannot show your creativity, at least through certain ways, if your management does not see this quality in you, it will be very hard to do your job. Another thing that is very common with empaths is that we attract energy vampires. They know who you are and they know that you are a dumping ground for their bad emotions. Unfortunately, we are not very good in not showing our emotions, not showing our sensitivity. So whenever somebody comes with a load of emotions, they easily can recognize where is the dumping ground. You don't have to be upset on those people. It's just that they have received a load from someone and they now need to share it and they don't know how to do it. So it's the very same thing that happens to you when you are overwhelmed. You become toxic just as well. But as an empath, perhaps you are seeking for the ways of how to transform this energy into something else, when toxic people just enjoy dumping the bad emotions on you and enjoy seeing your heart sink when they see you are not feeling well, or if they are able to drag you even more down than the way they feel. Now they are able to compare themselves to someone who's feeling even worse, and their situation in their eyes improves. So for you as an empath, will take much longer to recapture and to recover from these bad emotions and stress that was put on you by other people. As empaths, we are not very good at receiving criticism. We simply do not want to accept it, and it makes us feel destroyed, and we will just simply back off. So if you want to be our friend, perhaps you have to be careful the way you criticize us. However, it is possible to overcome criticism and become immune to it. And once that happens, you are able to see beyond words. You will be able to assess the person, and you will be able to feel their energy and true intentions. So that is an amazing gift. You will feel all subtleties around that person. So for example, you'll be able to speak to a person, and even if they're laughing, if they're happy, you will know when something is wrong. One of the last traits about empath that I wanted to share is that we have issues with the forgiveness. It is very hard for us to forgive someone who has done us wrong. Sometimes people don't necessarily mean us wrong, but once this happens, we just remember it. I can remember still things that happened to me at school or in certain workplaces or in certain relationships, and because I'm an empath, I can recall those memories and they are as fresh as it happened today. This is another thing for us empaths to work on. Forgiveness. You will learn that just knowing that you are an empath takes away such a heavy weight off your shoulders, and you will start feeling better about yourself. Trust me, you are absolutely normal. You are not a weirdo. There is nothing wrong with you. This is an amazing gift, and if you learn how to use it and how to live your day-to-day life as an empath, you will be able to advance yourself just to another level. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you soon in my next one. Bye bye for now.